Hi, I know a lot of you. For those of you who I don't know, my name is Dan Curry. I'm a MFA from class of 1981. This isn't going to be all that funny, I don't think, because I was reflecting before coming over here tonight with one of my classmates, Becky Manning. We were talking about what the experience of being here at the University of North Carolina, Greensboro for those couple of years, doing an MFA in theater really meant. And it was a remarkable experience. It was a crucible to me of learning how to cooperate and to join with other people. I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday before I left. I flew in from California last night, and I got in this morning. And one of my buddies there who doesn't know anything about theater, and he was saying, well, what's so important about your theater thing? That was 35 years ago. And I said, well, you don't understand. We did everything together. We were roommates. We slept, we worked together. We attended classes together. We were in productions together. We rehearsed day, night, and everything in between. And that's what we did. And the spirit of cooperation, the spirit of collaboration was remarkable. And it has carried over for me. I'm not in the theater biz anymore. I'm a social worker. And I do group treatment with people all day long. So anybody who's worried about their alcohol consumption, we can step in the back. That's what I do. This was the place that really kind of prepared me for the rest of my life, and the rest of my life has been pretty goddamn blessed. You're not supposed to say those two words in a sentence together. So, I want to leave you with two things. One of the productions that I was involved in was a summer rep production of 1980. It was called Sly Fox. And my friend Dan Dobie had a line that lives on, and my mother, who has since passed, this was her favorite line in any of the shows that I was ever in, and she was a really great supporter. She came to Greensboro for everything I did down here. And her favorite line, and she said it exactly the way you said it, Dan, I got hemorrhoids older than him. And I want to leave you with one last Dan Dobie line. Be careful around any of the lamps or the sockets because electricity lingers.
Hi, it's a story not quite about me, but first I guess I have to ask a question. If you were in Trojan Women, please raise your hand.
Oh my God.
Okay. Terry and I spend many days on our hands and knees next to each other.
Oh God.
Okay. Okay, so my parents were in for the show, and I'm giving them a tour of backstage, and me and two other women were sharing the dressing room with the men because there were so many women in the show. And so my dad is standing there kind of looking into the dressing room and thinking, oh, this little girl is standing, sharing a dressing room with all these men. And Don McCoy, we all know about Don McCoy, sees his name in his costume, and he goes, this ain't mine, it's got skid marks on it. I don't know whose costume it was, but it wasn't Don. That line is
Oh Lord, roommate. We were roommates for a year in college. My senior year. Anyway, you taught me about Tommy Tune. I didn't know about Tommy Tune. Anyway, you did. Anyway, UNC-G theater gave me my career. I was a music major. I did 11 shows in your department as a piano major. I have two fabulous people to thank for my career. What did you do? Don't do that. Okay, I have two people in this department, particularly three actually, Tom Beam, Herman Middleton, and John Joy, to thank for my career. They all recognized what I was doing as a piano major, and they included me in shows here on campus, in Summer Rep, and at Parkway. And then this guy was my roommate. Christina and I did Cabaret Company and Stop the World together. 3 shows. We did La Mancha with Dixie, which I got to music direct. And this set off my career as a music director, and now I run a music theater program for SUNY Buffalo because of your faculty and what you all did for me and this roommate who I had. And guest directors from New York City who became my New York City fathers because of Herman Middleton.
Oh, yeah.
Summer '77, we brought in a man from New York City to direct Pirates of Penzance that summer because Rolf Sander retired suddenly. He was the opera director. And Herman brought Bob Holly in, who was living with Roger Franklin, who did The King and I twice for Herman, before any of us were here probably. So the heritage, the lineage of Herman Middleton carried me through the 80s and 90s in New York because of these men who were his friends and colleagues before that. Bob and Roger became my New York fathers and helped me get all... I worked with Mark Hamill on Amadeus because of Roger, because of Herman. It's like crazy.
Rala and I are talking about sitting in the first graduate program seminar taught by, we called him Cecil B. DeMiddleton. Because all his productions were so over the top. That Trojan Women was set on a planet in intergalactic space in the next millennium or something. I don't know. I was going to tell another John Joy story in Parkway Playhouse. How many of you were in that summer of '77, Man of La Mancha, How to Succeed? Hepatitis was brought to us by a guest director named Jack something. Brooking. And we discovered that he had had hepatitis, and so we all had to show up for an emergency company meeting, drop our pants, and get a hepatitis B shot. And a certain director was impatient, so we just dropped our pants and they just went down, bam, 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 bam. And we were late for rehearsal, but... Who's next? Okay, Rose, John Joy story?
Okay, so let me tell you what made me come to North Carolina. I'm from New York, right? I'm from New York. So why wouldn't I stay in New York? Because I wanted to marry Patrick Swayze and marry a Southern guy, which I did, which worked out great. But let me tell you a story really quick. By the way, I love John Joy. John Joy was my dad when I was at UNC-G. My dad is Sicilian, from Sicily. He was born and raised there, and my dad and I came down for a tour, and I have to tell you the funniest thing. We're from New York, so we're used to traffic. You know, you sit there for 2 hours on the LIE. So we're in High Point staying with a friend, and they said there's gonna be some traffic, and my dad goes, oh my gosh. All right, we're gonna get on the highway 2.5 hours early to make it to UNC-G. Needless to say, we got to UNC-G 2.5 hours early because there was no traffic. There was no traffic at all. But John Joy met my dad and they became friends, and he kind of became my dad the whole entire time. But who else remember Ethel Glenn? Yeah! Okay, so let me tell you this story. When I came down here, I thought everybody had an accent, but me. I would hear this, oh, come on, y'all. And I go, it's just me. Who are you talking about? What do you mean, y'all? And I would say, oh, come on, you guys. And people would say to me, oh, you live on Long Island. Do you know so-and-so? And I go, there are more than 4 or 5 people on Long Island. I don't know everybody. But Ethel Glenn was my speech communication teacher. And we all went in there, and she said to me, "Now, Rose, you're going to have to get rid of this accent because you can't be in the drama program." I said, "I don't have an accent." You do. So she recorded all of us. And there's a speech. Who is it who does speech? Roosevelt or something? About, and I will never surrender. So at the end of the speech, Rose is going, "And I will never surrender." There was no R at all with my speech. So, needless to say, the South has been my home. I'm a Southern Yankee. I would never leave here at all. I met my husband here. I love everyone here at UNC-G, and I'm so glad I have the opportunity to be here tonight.